Hey guys, welcome back to update 3 of building my Separatist Dreadnought. We are currently building the biggest Separatist Dreadnought on YouTube, and I'm very excited to continue working on this project because it was going to look amazing next to my Venator one day that I made. And I am just honestly stoked to get into this week because it's been a minute since I've worked on it. The only thing that's been really causing delays is the financial situation with college being so exorbitantly expensive and just life. So if you're interested in supporting the project at all, make sure to subscribe down below. Every subscription does help. And if you want to leave a donation, please, it's much appreciated. You don't have to, but if you want to be a part of this project, it helps. So with that out of the way, let's get in this update without further ado. This week on the Separatist Dreadnought series, we're working on getting rid of the temporary supports once and for all. So last week on the Separatist Dreadnought update, we worked on this column right here as a new support beam for the whole ship, and now we're going to make one for the back. Another goal that we have this week is to also try and make this beam right here basically a connection between these 2 points, because I don't want to have a support beam right here. I only want to have 2 throughout the whole ship because I think it will just look way better that way, because I feel like with 3 support beams it's going to look really ugly. However, this is going to be complicated because at this point I want the ship to break into 2 halves, because in the movie we see the ship break into 2 halves, and I think it'd be really cool if we add some greebling to the back right here and it was able to break into 2 parts just like we saw in Revenge of the Sith. So for the first step of this process, the first thing I did was work on the back support beams because we'll need those to actually make the 2 sections connect. So I made 2 separate support beams that will eventually combine together into 1. However, the problem is we can't put them together yet because I forgot this part. Yes, I forgot that part, and that's a very integral part to put in right now, because if I don't put that in, then it's a real pain to put them in later. Because honestly, I have no clue where I put these parts. So to shift focus a little bit this week, I would like to continue working on plating this off and finishing off this section right here. As you can tell, there's parts that are missing that need to be put in, like these. So we're going to put those in, and then we're also going to be working on the connection point between this vessel part right here and then this vessel part right here. Because right now, it's not great, and I would like to try to improve it. So I began the task of working on what I was doing last week of basically combine the 2 sections together, and then I realized that I made a major mistake. And that major mistake is this. You see, right here I have 3 holes. This is 5 holes apart. This does not connect with this. I don't know why I thought I did, but I thought it, and now I'm cooked. Yeah, this is not good. So, I overreacted. It was a simple fix. I just need to place a 1x6 in front of this piece right here, and now it should go in like so, and we're set. So I continued to work on the front of the frame. We add some more structural columns in between each one of the areas, and then I realized I need to work on the back frame as well, because you can't really connect one without the other. And that took a while because I realized there was a level change in between the floors since we had that snot floor for the hangar in the back. So basically I had to raise it by another few studs, and that made it complicated, so it took a little while to get that done, but I think I'm really happy with what came out of it. I'll show you guys right now. Alright, we've made a lot of progress since we last talked. We added these 2 beams that come out as somewhat of a way to connect the 2 sections. Obviously, I have yet to really support it completely. These are just kind of prototypes to see where I need to have the 2 beams come out. As you can see, this one's not even hanging on because I haven't supported it with Technic as of yet. But this is just a quick prototype to see where I want these 2 to come out and basically connect to this structure, which I've worked on as well. As you can see, as we talked about earlier, that we had to account for a level height, as in a sense, this one right here is lower than this low right here. So to make that work out, we basically had to move it up by a Technic stud in a sense, which was a bit unfortunate and a bit difficult to try and figure out. But we were able to manage. It just looks really messy underneath, but I'm totally okay with that because I don't think there's going to be much underneath here. But yeah, I think this turned out rather good. I think it's going to work out well for the ship, and also I'm just happy with how it looks. So thumbs up. Although I really got to figure out how I'm going to account for this small little change between here and here. It's not massive, but it's something that's noticeable. And I think honestly what I'm going to do is add just like a little ramp or a hump from here to here or something. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do for that yet, but stay tuned because, you know, we still got a while to work on this project. But yeah, that's what I'm planning for, just to make sure that the height is 100% level right there in that section. But this had to go down at the end of the day because the hangar kind of like lowers and descends, so it all works out. But I spent way too long working on this section right here. Now, right here, this is just to show how the two pieces are going to connect. So as you can see, it kind of just slides in like so. And then the hallway will continue down the center right there. And this will kind of just be debris that falls off. There's going to be a lot of greebling on this side right here to make it look like the exterior structure is ripping itself in half. But in reality, this is just a hallway, and this is just a hallway. And it's just a really greebled wall on this end, and then this side as well. As you can see, I kind of started to make it look a little bit messy from this end, in a sense, to show the greebling detail. It's not much yet, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Again, we're only in week 3 of this project, and this thing's going to take a while. I think this thing might take like 2 or 3 years to actually make into a full working ship. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but the Venator took a long time, and I think this ship's going to be no different in that sense. I'm trying to get it done, but there's a lot of stuff still left to do. Now, what we're going to work on right now is working on this side in the ways of connection, making this stronger. Because, honestly, this right here is not strong. It's not working. And, honestly, I got to figure out a way to connect this bottom section to this top section right here. Because we're going to have this same system right here running to the top as well. Because, honestly, this ship is going to need the support to connect both of these big sections together. Because it's going to be rough. But before we can work on the top supports, we gotta work on the bottom supports. You see, there's a scene in Revenge of the Sith where basically Obi-Wan and Anakin are talking in a hallway, and they're captured by General Grievous, and they're trying to figure out a way to get out of this. And their way of getting out of this is to give a code phrase that basically leads them to the underground level of the ship, which is the fuel tank. And that's what we're going to be creating right here. You see, the hallway is on the top section of the ship right here, and the bottom section is down here. To do this, we had to basically expand this section right here and this section right here so that we could actually fit these Technic blocks in so that we can have support going from here to this bottom section right here, which is what we did. And I think it looks great. We have more enough room for our little gasoline area that we're going to have Obi-Wan and Anakin diving through, and I think that works great. Now to work on this top section, which is going to be also fun because I got to figure out how I'm going to connect this section right here to this section up here. And then I gotta extend this section out, put support beams in the top. Yikes, this sounds like a lot of work. So I did a little test to see if the two Technic beams do actually fit into the back holes of the back of the Dreadnought, and it looks like they do. And now I am currently just adding onto that Technic frame and making sure that we connect all 3 floors of the Dreadnought together, so that way they all are like a pancake and there's no shear force whatsoever, because you don't want this thing sliding and falling down like the Venator did at Brickell, Chicago. Alright, so I have a little progress to show, not a ton, because I don't have the right Technic beams to do this properly, and I'd rather wait to do this right than do it wrong and have to rebuild it later. That'd just be wasting time. So I'm just going to show you guys what I'm thinking about doing for this section right here. So as you can see, we got Technic beams running from top to bottom right here. And then basically what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to shift the focus of the weights and basically shift it to this area right here. Because right here in the center is the big massive hallway. We're going to have that scene with General Grievous, and all those battle droids. So we got to be able to make sure that this hallway is big enough and is good. So to do this, I kind of did a little bit of a testing phase of just trying to figure out the size of the hallway. This is a rough estimate. Obviously, I think it's going to be a bit bigger than this, but this is just a rough estimate. I still got to figure out the height. It probably isn't even the right height. It's probably more like that. But in a sense, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out how much space this hallway will take, because I got to build a Technic frame around it without any Technic beams going through it, if you know what I mean. So we're going to have a Technic beam that goes from here to here, and then we're going to shift that focus from right here to right here, which is the top of the ship. And as you can see, this is where the panels are going to go on the ship in this section, so it all works out rather nicely. And then eventually these two are also going to come out so that they can connect with this part of the ship right here. So from the looks of it, I got both sections combined right now, and honestly, I'm surprised this is holding because there is like no support connecting these two elements. It's just one beam right here and one beam on the other side. It's so loose, but they should be able to come apart pretty easily, except right now that they're sagging. You see, this is why we need this top support going across to actually make this thing work in the long run. And we also need to reinforce this back section because right now there's like nothing reinforcing it except a few Technic pins, which is why this whole thing is sagging in the center. But I thought this would be a fun little test just to see what's going on with it, to show you guys the whole grand scheme of what we have completed so far. Just to be clear, this is not done and it's not going to sag in the future. But just to be clear, this is just a prototype. This is not how it's actually going to look in the final thing. And obviously, there's going to be a lot more support. Right now, this is just a very weak footing just to try to see how this is all going to come together. And honestly, I just thought it'd be cool to show you guys what we have done so far on this ship. But that's going to wrap it up for this week on the Separatist Dreadnought updates. But we did just get a whole bunch of new parts for next week when we're going to start working on the exterior paneling right there. This was like $100 for the parts right here, and honestly, these tile pieces that are curved are cheaper to buy on Pick a Brick from Lego than they are on Bricklink, unless I want to get them from like Germany or something. So I'm very excited about that, and I cannot wait to get into that next update. And with that, we're going to wrap up this week on building my Separatist Dreadnought. Thank you all for watching. If you want to continue to see this journey, maybe consider subscribing down below. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out and goodbye.